In the world of ancient Greece, letters and decrees were vital instruments of communication, conveying everything from official decisions to personal messages. Today, we have a fragment of such a text, which provides a tantalizing glimpse into the daily life and governance of the time. Although this fragment is incomplete, it is rich with potential meanings and historical context. The fragment begins with the name Polik, followed by Odikitis, which translates to Polik, the commander, or governor. This suggests that the text is likely a formal communication, possibly a letter or decree issued by someone in a position of authority. The presence of tes pros seems to indicate that this document relates to a specific matter or subject, though the rest of the phrase is obscured by the fragmentary nature of the text. We then encounter ekkeozimin, which could suggest something about an event or action taking place, perhaps referring to orders or responsibilities assigned to the commander. Following this, we find tuz tawam, hinting at some sort of regulations or instructions regarding individuals or groups, likely citizens or soldiers, given the context of a commander. As we delve deeper, the phrase exavtoss might imply a directive for immediate action or a reference to ongoing duties. The letters that follow, NLI, could be part of a discussion regarding resources or supplies, essential for the sustenance of a city-state or military campaign. The final word, Pol-E, could be a reference to a city or community, perhaps indicating that these instructions pertain to a specific place. This fragment likely belongs to a time when city-states were engaged in complex political and military maneuvers, around the 4th century BCE. During this period, Greece was characterized by its city-state structure, where the local leaders wielded significant power and were responsible for the welfare and governance of their communities. The existence of such texts illustrates not only the administrative practices of the time, but also the importance of clear communication in maintaining order and executing plans effectively. Everyday life in ancient Greece was intricately tied to these forms of governance. Citizens might have received announcements regarding military service, civic duties, or legal matters, shaping their daily routines and responsibilities. This fragment reminds us that, much like today, the lives of individuals in ancient societies were influenced by decisions made at higher levels of authority. Interestingly, we can draw parallels with modern practices. Today, we still rely on letters and official documents to communicate important decisions, whether they are from government bodies or corporations. The essence of clear communication remains vital in our interconnected world. Just as the ancient Greeks depended on their leaders to relay crucial information, we look to our elected officials and institutions to guide us through the complexities of modern life. In conclusion, while this fragment may be incomplete, it opens a window into the governance, communication, and everyday life of ancient Greece. It reminds us that, despite the passage of time, the threads of human experience, responsibility, leadership, and community remain remarkably consistent throughout history. In the heart of the ancient world, where the echoes of philosophers and the footsteps of citizens reverberated through bustling marketplaces, we stumble upon a fragmentary piece of text that offers a glimpse into everyday life in ancient Greece. This text appears to be a receipt or a financial record, possibly related to a civic transaction or payment for services rendered, perhaps in the context of local governance or community affairs. Translating the fragment, we see several recognizable elements. The text references a specific year, likely indicating a dating system used in the ancient Greek world. The term meso could suggest a middle point in the year, while phro-oriou likely pertains to a month, possibly referring to the month of Phrygios, which would align with the Athenian calendar. The phrase laographias translates to of the people's writing or of the public record, hinting at the bureaucratic nature of the transaction. The mention of drachmas indicates a monetary amount, specifically drachmas, a common currency of the time. The term chalkon suggests that this transaction may have involved bronze coins, which were often used alongside silver drachmas. From what we can glean, this fragment likely recorded a payment for a public service or duty, highlighting the administrative procedures that governed daily life in ancient Greek city-states. During this period, particularly around the 4th century BCE, civic responsibility was paramount. Citizens often contributed to the community through various roles, including military service, jury duty, and other public offices. This text serves as a reminder of how intertwined finances and civic duty were, reflecting a society that valued participation in governance. In a broader historical context, the use of written records in ancient Greece was crucial for maintaining order and accountability. Unlike today, where digital records and online transactions have transformed how we manage finances and document interactions, the Greeks relied heavily on physical records inscribed on papyrus or parchment. This practice underscores a significant aspect of their culture: the importance of record-keeping in facilitating trade and civic life. As we reflect on this ancient text, we can draw parallels with modern practices. Today, we still maintain records for transactions and public services, whether through receipts or digital confirmations. The reliance on documentation to ensure transparency and accountability persists, just as it did in ancient Greece. Ultimately, this fragment, while incomplete, captures a moment in time, revealing not only the economic transactions of the people, but also their commitment to civic engagement and the intricate systems that sustain their society. It invites us to consider how far we've come, yet reminds us of the enduring nature of community and responsibility that transcends the ages. In the dusty annals of history, we often uncover fragments of ancient texts that offer us glimpses into the past. Today, we delve into a fragment of Greek text, likely from a letter or a legal document, that invites us to explore the intricacies of daily life in ancient times. Although this text is fragmentary and incomplete, it reveals a tapestry of connections, obligations, and cultural practices that were integral to the lives of those who lived in the Hellenistic world. The fragment begins with the phrase ton ipakon, which translates to of the horsemen, indicating a possible military or civic context. The mention of ipakon suggests a connection to equestrian orders, or perhaps a legal decree related to cavalry service. The subsequent words, though partially obscured, reference names and roles, hinting at a structure of governance or community organization. We see terms like archiphylakitin, which could refer to a chief guardian or overseer, indicating a hierarchical system where certain individuals held power and responsibility. The text also alludes to a legal dispute, as we catch a glimpse of terms like andidiki, meaning opponents or rivals. This suggests that the document might have been related to a legal case, possibly concerning property or civic duties, where parties were called to address grievances in front of an official. The mention of talent implies a reference to a unit of currency, possibly indicating that financial matters were at stake. A common theme in ancient legal writings. Historically, this fragment emerges from a period of vibrant cultural and political activity in ancient Greece. The Hellenistic era, following the conquests of Alexander the Great, saw the expansion of Greek culture across the Mediterranean and into Asia. It was a time marked by the blending of traditions, but also by the complexities of governance and social order. Documents like this one illustrate how communities structured themselves, established laws, and resolved conflicts, reflecting the essential practices of civic life. What does this tell us about everyday life? The presence of legal disputes suggests that, much like today, ancient Greeks engaged in commerce and transactions that required regulation. The mention of horsemen indicates that animals played a crucial role in their society, whether for agriculture, transportation, or military service. This resonates with modern customs where animals still hold significant value in various aspects of life, from agriculture to sport. In examining this fragment, we also recognize the importance of record-keeping and governance. Just as we maintain documents today for legal and financial purposes, ancient societies relied on written records to formalize agreements and disputes. This continuity of practice underscores a universal aspect of human civilization: the need for structure and accountability in community life. As we piece together the fragments of the past, we not only uncover the lives of those who came before us, but also find reflections of our own practices and values. The echoes of ancient Greece remind us that, despite the passage of time, the essence of human interaction, be it through governance, commerce, or community, remains a thread that connects us across the ages. In the world of ancient Greece, written communication was vital for both personal and administrative matters. Today, we delve into a fragmentary piece of text that appears to be a letter or perhaps a decree, likely connected to local governance or community affairs. Though incomplete, this text offers fascinating insights into the lives and practices of those in the Hellenistic period. The surviving words suggest a communication intended for a group or community, as indicated by the phrase "tuis en toi ira," which translates to those in Hera. This suggests a connection to a locale or perhaps a cult dedicated to the goddess Hera, indicating that the audience may have been involved in religious or civic activities. The mention of Basiliquais Gram hints at a link to royal or official documents, suggesting that this correspondence may have been of some significance, possibly involving administrative matters or local governance. As we piece together the fragment, we see references to Karen, which means greetings, a common way to start a letter, indicating a friendly tone. The text also mentions andigraphon, which translates to counter-document, possibly suggesting a discussion of records or accounts that were kept in response to previous communications. This reflects the bureaucratic nature of ancient city-states, where record-keeping was essential for managing public affairs. The mention of economoi relates to an economist or steward, indicating that the content may have involved financial or resource management. This points to the importance of economic oversight in the community, revealing a structured approach to managing resources, taxes, or possibly public works. The fragment also refers to an epimelisomenus, meaning one who is in charge, again emphasizing the structured roles within the society, perhaps hinting at an official responsible for overseeing certain projects or initiatives. Historically, this text likely belongs to the Hellenistic period, a time characterized by the spread of Greek culture and influence following the conquests of Alexander the Great. During this era, cities flourished with trade and cultural exchange, leading to more complex administrative structures. Correspondence like this would have played a crucial role in maintaining connections between different city-states or within local communities, ensuring that governance and social order were upheld. What this fragment reveals about everyday life is striking. It suggests a society that valued communication and documentation, where citizens were actively engaged in civic duties and the management of their community. The presence of stewards and officials indicates a hierarchy and a system of accountability, much like modern governance structures. Interestingly, this echoes modern practices, where we rely on emails, memos, and formal letters to maintain order and communication in our societies. Just as we document agreements and transactions today, the ancients recognized the importance of keeping written records to ensure transparency and efficiency in their affairs. In conclusion, while this text fragment is incomplete, it opens a window into the everyday lives of ancient Greeks, reflecting their social structure, governance, and the importance of communication. It reminds us that, across centuries, the fundamental human need to organize, connect, and manage our communities remains unchanged. What we have here is a fragment of ancient Greek text that likely represents a receipt or an official document. The surviving words hint at a financial transaction or record of some civic duty, possibly relating to the collection of taxes or dues in a specific community. Now, let's delve into the translation of the recognizable parts. The text begins with the word saros, which could refer to a personal name or possibly a title. Following that, we see mythic, likely an abbreviation for something related to a region or an individual's name, and pic, which might connect to a place or family. The phrase ediapond suggests an action of carrying out or executing something, hinting at administrative duties. The mention of grapheia denotes writing or records, indicating that this document serves as an official account of something important. We also see metropoleos, meaning mother city or metropolis, suggesting this text comes from a significant urban center in ancient Greece. This gives us clues about the social and administrative organization of the time. As we continue, we encounter references to kirk, which could be part of a place name or a local community. The fragment mentions argyriou drachmas, translating to silver drachmas, clearly indicating a monetary transaction. The word vevaioi at the end implies confirmation or validation, suggesting that this document was meant to authenticate a financial exchange. From this fragment, we can interpret that it likely served as a receipt or proof of payment for a tax or service rendered, which reflects the bureaucratic nature of city life in ancient Greece. Such documents were essential for maintaining records of economic transactions and civic responsibilities. They illustrate how even in ancient times, communities relied on written records to ensure transparency and accountability. This text dates back to a time when city-states were flourishing in Greece, around the 4th to 3rd centuries BCE. During this period, the economy was increasingly monetized, and the use of currency such as the silver drachma became widespread. This was a time of great intellectual and cultural achievement. often referred to as the classical period, where democracy, philosophy, and arts thrived. The presence of such documents gives us insight into everyday life. We see that citizens were engaged in economic activities, paying taxes and possibly participating in civic duties, much like today when people handle taxes, receipts, and official documents. The reliance on written agreements echoes our modern practices of documentation in business and government. In comparing this ancient practice to our current customs, we see that the fundamental need for clear records and accountability persists. Today, we use digital receipts and electronic records, but the essence of verifying transactions and ensuring transparency remains unchanged. This continuity speaks to the enduring nature of human organization and governance, bridging the ancient with the modern in our shared quest for order and accountability. In conclusion, while this fragment is incomplete, it opens a window into the structured life of ancient communities, revealing how they navigated their social and economic worlds with a sophistication that resonates even today. In the heart of ancient Greece, a fragment of text emerges, tantalizingly incomplete yet rich with historical significance. This fragment appears to be a financial document, possibly a receipt or a record related to taxation or payments made during the reign of a Roman leader, specifically Julius Caesar. The mention of Caesar suggests its connection to the Roman administration that was deeply intertwined with Greek city-states, particularly during the late Republic period. Translating the preserved Greek words, we find references to triavolon, which indicates a sum of money, specifically 3 obols, an ancient Greek silver coin. The text notes drachmas ekaton, or 100 drachmas, hinting at a financial transaction or a tax collection. The term epitiritou signifies an overseer or official, suggesting that this document may have been created as part of a bureaucratic process overseeing financial matters. This fragment also references a specific location, Dionysiados, which may relate to a particular district or neighborhood within a city, pointing to how localized tax systems operated. The mention of pennikostes, PLEs, could suggest a threshold or a gate marking the jurisdiction of financial oversight, perhaps reflecting the structured nature of urban governance. The period in which this text was likely written, around the late 1st century BCE, was marked by the expansion of Roman influence in the Eastern Mediterranean. Cities like Athens and Corinth were adapting to new administrative practices under Roman rule, merging traditional Greek customs with the more centralized Roman bureaucracy. This blending created a unique atmosphere where local officials had to navigate new systems of taxation and governance. Everyday life in this era was heavily influenced by such economic activities. The collection of taxes was crucial for funding public works, the military, and other civic responsibilities. Citizens would have been acutely aware of their financial obligations, and documents like this one would have served as essential records, ensuring transparency and accountability in a time when personal reputation was tied to one's standing in both the community and the state. Interestingly, we can draw parallels between these ancient practices and modern financial systems. Just as citizens today receive receipts for transactions or tax documents, the ancient Greeks were engaged in meticulous record-keeping. The careful documentation of finances reflects a universal human concern with accountability and order, transcending time and culture. In conclusion, this fragment, though incomplete, offers a fascinating glimpse into the bureaucratic life of ancient Greece under Roman influence. It reminds us of the intricate web of economic and social systems that shaped daily life, echoing through the ages to our current practices. In the bustling marketplaces of ancient Greece, where merchants exchanged goods and ideas, a fragment of text has emerged, offering us a glimpse into the daily transactions of that time. This particular piece appears to be some form of financial record or receipt, detailing a transaction related to trade and possibly the exchange of goods. As we delve into the Greek words that survive in this fragment, we can glean important insights. The phrase ekpisua suggests a record of something being delivered or summary of a transaction. The term keruatos translates to of profit or of gain, pointing towards a focus on the financial aspects of commerce. The presence of keration indicates that this document may have also involved some form of taxation or revenue collection, suggesting both the significance of profit in trade and the administrative details that accompanied such exchanges. We see mentions of X, which translates to 6, and eperotithis, meaning having been asked or inquired about. This suggests that the transaction involved a discussion or negotiation, reflecting the intricate steps merchants would take in ensuring fair trade. The mention of lakano prati hints at a specific type of market or trade related to vegetables, indicating that this receipt may have been part of a larger agricultural economy. This fragment offers us a taste of everyday life in ancient Greece around the 4th century BCE, a time when commerce was vital not just for wealth, but for the sustenance of communities. The economy was largely based on agriculture, and markets were vibrant centers of social interaction. People gathered not only to buy and sell goods, but also to exchange news and engage in discussions about politics and philosophy. What we might think of as a precursor to modern community gatherings. Interestingly, we can draw parallels between this ancient practice and our current customs. Just as merchants in ancient Greece had to negotiate prices and ensure the quality of their products, modern consumers still engage in bargaining, though often in a more structured environment. The complexities of pricing, quality assurance, and the importance of trust in transactions remain ever relevant, bridging the gap between ancient and modern economic practices. In essence, this fragment, though incomplete, illuminates the rich tapestry of daily life in ancient Greece, where commerce was not merely a means of survival, but a reflection of the community's values, aspirations, and connections. It serves as a reminder that the simple act of trade has always been infused with deeper implications, influencing social structures and cultural exchanges throughout history. In our exploration of ancient texts, we often uncover fragments that offer intriguing glimpses into the lives and practices of those who lived centuries ago. Today, we have a fragmentary piece of ancient Greek writing that appears to be a letter or decree concerning agricultural matters. The text, though incomplete, reveals insights into the economic and social structures of its time. The words dik ite geweter e suggest a reference to governance or administration related to land measurement or agricultural management. This indicates that the document likely pertains to the oversight of agricultural practices, a vital aspect of ancient Greek economy, where agriculture was the backbone of society. Following this, the phrase parask o georg o translates to provide to the farmer, highlighting the importance of support for those who toiled the land. The mention of uper katavrawa hints at considerations for the costs or provisions concerning consumption, or possibly the provisions for livestock. The term edictionos, though somewhat obscured, may relate to specific legal or financial obligations tied to these agricultural matters. The fragment also mentions pentekadek, which could refer to a quantity, perhaps implying a specific measure or count of certain goods or transactions. From these fragments, we can interpret that the full text likely dealt with the administration of agricultural resources and provisions necessary for the sustenance of the community. It may have also outlined responsibilities or entitlements related to farming and the distribution of resources, reflecting the bureaucratic nature of ancient Greek society. Historically, this text likely dates back to a period when city-states like Athens were expanding their agricultural practices, with a growing emphasis on managing resources efficiently to support their populations. It offers us a glimpse into the complexities of land management, taxation, and community support systems that were essential in maintaining the well-being of citizens. Everyday life in ancient Greece revolved heavily around agriculture, and the role of the farmer was central to the economy. This document emphasizes how even in antiquity, there were structured systems in place to ensure that farmers received the necessary support to thrive. This resonates with modern agricultural practices, where governments often provide subsidies or resources to support farmers, ensuring food security and economic stability. In conclusion, while this ancient Greek text is fragmentary, it serves as a powerful reminder of the governance and societal structures that shaped daily life. It sheds light on the interconnectedness of agriculture, economy, and community, revealing that even in ancient times, the principles of support and administration were foundational to the prosperity of society. As we reflect on these themes, we see the enduring significance of agriculture and resource management that continues to influence our lives today. In the annals of history, even the briefest fragments can offer us glimpses into the lives and thoughts of those who came before us. Today, we encounter a tantalizing snippet of ancient Greek text. Aos. Though this fragment is short and incomplete, it opens the door to discussions about the rich tapestry of communication in ancient Greece. The fragment begins with a, which can be translated as is or to be, suggesting a connection to a statement or declaration. The second word, os, translates to as or like, indicating a comparison or perhaps a manner of being. While we can't discern the entirety of the text's meaning, it seems to hint at a relationship or equivalence, possibly addressing a person, an idea, or a state of existence. This fragment could represent part of a letter, a philosophical treatise, or even a poetic expression. Letters in ancient Greece were vital for communication, conveying sentiments, political messages, or personal news. Imagine a father writing to his son, imparting wisdom or advice. Beginning with a phrase that sets the tone for a deeper discussion about identity or virtue. The use of as suggests a comparison that may encompass the ideals of moral character. A frequent theme in Greek philosophy, where individuals were often encouraged to aspire to higher standards of conduct. The historical context surrounding this fragment is equally intriguing. Ancient Greece, particularly during the classical period, was a time of great intellectual exploration and artistic achievement. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle were shaping thoughts on ethics, politics, and the human condition. The practice of letter writing flourished, not only as a means of personal communication, but also as a method to disseminate ideas among the literate elite. This text reminds us that communication has always been a vital aspect of human life, echoing into our modern world where letters have transformed into emails and instant messages. Just as the Greeks sought to articulate their thoughts and emotions, we continue to navigate our relationships through written words, often relying on comparisons to express our feelings and experiences. In essence, while AOs may be a mere whisper from the past, it encapsulates the universal human endeavor to connect and convey meaning. It invites us to reflect on the ways we express ourselves today and underscores the timeless nature of our quest to understand one another. Through fragments like this, we gain insight into the everyday lives of ancient peoples, their values, and the enduring power of language. In the annals of history, every fragment of text serves as a window into the past, revealing the thoughts, practices, and daily lives of those who came before us. Today, we explore a fragment of ancient Greek text that hints at a communication, possibly a letter or decree, from a time when the ink of scribes shaped the narratives of their society. The text we have is incomplete, but even within its broken lines, we can glean meaningful insights. The fragment begins with the Greek letter D, which may denote the beginning of a word or title, followed by the phrase ou os me, which could suggest a designation of a person or a subject matter. The next part, mrakase, is more challenging to interpret fully, but it might relate to an instruction or action, perhaps something to be done or avoided. The phrase di grammatiforuk pota suggests a connection to a scribe or a written document, as grammatiforu refers to a writer or one who conveys written messages. The term pota could be indicating a location or reference to a river, which was often significant in ancient communications, linking places of governance or trade. The last segment, seal kometimon, hints at a formal aspect of the document, possibly referring to a seal that would authenticate or legitimize the text. Seals were crucial in ancient administrations, ensuring that messages were protected from tampering and signifying authority. Though this text is fragmentary, it provides a glimpse into the bureaucratic and social systems of ancient Greece. It likely relates to administrative matters, perhaps involving the handling of correspondence or the delegation of tasks among officials. This was a time when city-states were often embroiled in governance, trade, and military affairs, necessitating clear communication among leaders and citizens alike. Reflecting on the historical context, this fragment likely originates from a period when the use of written language became essential for effective administration. The 5th to 4th centuries BCE were marked by the flourishing of democracy in Athens, where the management of public affairs required meticulous record-keeping and correspondence. The presence of scribes and the use of seals underscore the importance of documentation in legal and political transactions. In everyday life, this type of text illustrates how ancient Greeks relied on structured communication to navigate their complex society. Unlike today, where digital messages can be sent instantly, the people of ancient Greece utilized physical letters and seals, often taking considerable time for delivery. This necessity for patience and physical effort in communication reminds us of the profound changes technology has wrought upon our lives. As we draw comparisons to contemporary practices, one can see parallels in how we authenticate our communications today, whether through digital signatures or encrypted messages. Just as ancient seals served to protect and validate, Our modern systems ensure the integrity of information in an age of rapid exchange. In conclusion, while this ancient Greek fragment may be incomplete, it invites us to ponder the significance of communication in shaping societies, both then and now. Through the lens of history, we see how the threads of bureaucracy, social interaction, and the very fabric of daily life were woven together, creating the rich tapestry of human experience that continues to echo through the ages. In the dim glow of history, we stumble upon a fragment of an ancient Greek text, a tantalizing glimpse into the past that invites us to explore the lives and customs of those who came before us. This fragment appears to be a receipt or perhaps a record related to a financial transaction. Something quite ordinary yet essential for understanding daily life in ancient Greece. As we delve into the words, we find a few recognizably Greek phrases. The term chrysou suggests a connection to gold, possibly indicating that this document involved a payment or financial exchange involving gold currency. The word nomismata translates to coins or currency, reinforcing the idea that this text is indeed related to monetary matters. The mention of maini hints at a monthly context, which could imply that this transaction was part of regular economic activities, perhaps a monthly payment or collection of debts. The name Arsi appears twice, suggesting that it could refer to a person involved in this transaction, likely either the payer or the recipient. Though the text is fragmentary, we can infer that it captures a moment of economic interaction, perhaps a loan or a payment for goods or services. Such records were vital in ancient Greece, reflecting a society that was becoming increasingly complex in its economic dealings. The presence of a seal, indicated by the word iohiro, typically signifies authenticity and formal agreement, which was crucial in a world where trust was paramount. This fragment hails from a time when city-states were thriving, particularly during the classical period of the 5th to 4th centuries BCE. The economy was bustling, with trade and commerce playing significant roles in the lives of citizens. This era saw the rise of marketplaces, where merchants and ordinary folk alike engaged in the exchange of goods, echoing the routines we see today in our own bustling markets and online transactions. In examining this text, we catch a glimpse of everyday life in ancient Greece. People navigating their economic realities, making transactions that would keep their households running and their communities thriving. It shows us that, despite the passage of centuries, the fundamental human experience of trade and commerce remains largely unchanged. Just as we today rely on receipts and records to track our finances, ancient Greeks employed similar practices, underscoring a shared thread of economic life through the ages. As we reflect on this fragment, we are reminded that while much has changed, the essence of human interaction, whether through a handwritten receipt or a digital transaction, remains a constant in our shared history. In the dusty archives of history, fragments of ancient texts can often provide us with a glimpse into the everyday lives of those who lived long ago. The fragment before us appears to be a record of transactions, perhaps a receipt or a ledger, detailing payments or debts in a system of currency involving keratia, which translates to drachmas, a common form of money in ancient Greece. As we piece together the words, we see phrases like apolit ou, which means release or payment, and nomismata, referring to payments or currency. The presence of the name fuivam onos suggests the involvement of a person, possibly a creditor or a merchant, indicating that this text may have been used for settling debts or transactions in a commercial setting. From the preserved text, we can infer that this document was likely used to track the various payments made, possibly for goods or services provided to someone named Se-ni-eos, suggesting a connection to a significant figure or entity within the community. The mention of apolit udhiya aftu implies that these payments were being made in the name of someone, indicating a system of accountability and record-keeping that was important in maintaining the social and economic fabric of their society. This fragment hails from a period when trade and commerce were flourishing in ancient Greek city-states, particularly in the 5th to 4th centuries BCE, when Athens was at its zenith. During this time, the economy was robust, and the use of currency was becoming increasingly sophisticated, allowing for a more complex and interconnected marketplace. The text not only sheds light on the financial dealings of the time, but also reflects the reliance on written records for commerce. In a world where many were illiterate, these written documents served as vital proof of transactions, much like our receipts and invoices today. It is fascinating to consider how similar our modern practices are to those of the ancients. We still rely on documentation to keep track of our financial obligations and transactions. Furthermore, the use of money itself reveals much about social hierarchies and relationships in ancient Greece. The ability to engage in commerce, to lend or borrow money, often determined one's social standing and relationships within the community. Thus, this fragment not only records monetary exchanges, but also hints at the intricate web of social interactions that defined life in ancient Greece. In conclusion, while this text is but a fragment, it opens a window into a world where commerce was vital, records were essential, and everyday transactions formed the backbone of society. It reminds us that, despite the passage of centuries, the fundamental aspects of human life, trade, relationships, and the need for accountability, remain strikingly consistent across time. What we have here is a fragmentary piece of ancient Greek text, likely a letter or perhaps a decree. The incomplete nature of the inscription makes it a bit of a puzzle, but even in its damaged state, we can glean valuable insights into the past. The Greek words we can partially recognize include "you," which could be a contraction of "apa," meaning under or by, and "epic," which suggests a connection to the term for settlement or to settle. Although the text is broken, it appears to be discussing some aspect of governance or community organization, possibly related to the establishment of a settlement or the administration of a region. In a broader historical context, this text likely hails from a period when the Greek city-states were actively engaging in colonization and the establishment of new settlements, particularly during the 8th to 6th centuries BCE. This was an era marked by exploration and expansion, where Greeks were seeking new lands to cultivate and inhabit, often leading to interactions with local populations. Letters from this time often reflect the administrative and social dynamics of these new communities, revealing the complexities of daily life as well as the political structures that govern them. What does this tell us about everyday life in ancient Greece? It suggests that communication was a vital part of managing communities. The act of writing letters or decrees points to a society that valued record-keeping and the importance of clear communication among its citizens and leaders. This could relate to matters of trade, land ownership, or governance, all of which were crucial for the stability and growth of these burgeoning communities. Interestingly, when we draw comparisons with modern practices, we see that many of the same principles apply today. just as ancient Greeks relied on letters and decrees to communicate important decisions and establish order, we continue to utilize written communication to manage our societies, whether through emails, official documents, or even text messages. The need for clear and effective communication remains a cornerstone of both ancient and modern life. In conclusion, while this fragment may be incomplete, it opens up a window into the administrative practices and daily realities of ancient Greece. It invites us to reflect on how far we've come, yet how much remains the same in our need to connect, organize, and govern.